Hi, I'm Shakti. Welcome and thank you for joining for this 25-minute floor sequence. This will be a great sequence to do any time of day for energizing and strengthening, but also stretching and calming to the body and the nervous system. So if you'd like to grab a blanket for support under the back, hips, or legs when we're in our lying position, feel free to grab one now. And then as you're ready, meet me lying down on your back in a supine position. Feet draw in towards hips, and then heel toe the feet to the edges of the mat. Let the knees rest in against each other. Palms can rest face up or down on the earth, or maybe come to the belly. Shoulder blades are anchored into the mat, and tailbone is long, reaching through crown of head to lengthen also through back of neck. Gaze at the ceiling or softly close the eyes. The hard part is over. You've made it to your mat. You've carved out this time for yourself. And so for the next few minutes, give yourself the gift of arriving in the present moment. Be aware first of outer sensations, tuning in to sounds in the room, smells of the room, the temperature of the space where you're practicing. Notice the lighting, or if eyes are closed, the play of shadows and light through the cracks in the eyelids. Hug that awareness more closely in to yourself and notice the sensation of clothes against skin. Feel hair as it tickles face or neck. Feel the warmth of the air between belly and palms if hands rest on the abdomen. And feel the solidity of the earth supporting the weight of your body. And then let senses permeate beyond the external experience to the internal landscape. Notice heartbeat and connecting with the rhythm of life. Notice muscles, patterns of holding in the body, areas where you maybe can release tension, or maybe even where you feel that there is tension to release, but you're not quite there yet. Right? Those areas that might need a little more TLC in your practice today. And then bring all awareness to the breath. Follow the journey of the inhalation as it comes in through the nose, washes over forehead, down through throat, Draw it through heart center all the way to the base of the navel. Exhale for the full amount, following the breath to its end. Navel relaxes in towards spine. And feel that shift in the ebb and flow when body expands again to receive the breath. Allowing breath to fill all the way down through top of chest, through ribs, into the abdomen. And stay for the full exhalation. And feel for a three-dimensional experience of the breath where inhale expands not just belly and front of chest, but also side bodies and back of ribs, low back. The breath is physical without being forced. And then if you notice any engagement with the breath, just release that engagement and come back to your natural breath flow. Heel toe feet back into about hips width apart and allow the knees to separate. Hands can come down now to the sides with palms grounded to the earth if they weren't already. Root into your footprints. And exhale to gently tuck tailbone, ironing low back to mat. Inhale and reverse the direction of that arc, creating more space between low back and mat. And then exhale again, tucking tailbone, lengthening through low back. Inhale to arch. Exhale once more for the tuck. And here, as you inhale and move through a more neutral position with the pelvis, root through feet and inhale to lift the hips just a few inches off the mat. Exhale and lower. And then inhale, root through feet, lift the hips, maybe rolling up a few more inches. Exhale, lower. And again, inhaling to lift, maybe rolling up the length of the spine this time. Exhale to lower. Take 3 more cycles of this dynamic bridge, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, maybe opting to include the arms. Inhaling to arc the arms up and over as the hips lift, and then exhaling to release arms and hips back to the earth. Inhale, imagine being pulled up by strings, rooted through big toe mounds. Yeah, exhale, lower with control. Last time, inhale, lift. The pelvis is buoyed by the strength of the feet, the inner line of the legs. Exhale, release. And then draw left knee in towards the chest. Clasp hands around the knee. Right leg stays where it is, or you might choose to extend it long along the mat, staying active through the sole of the foot. Start to rock the left knee from side to side across the chest and then out, massaging the space of the hip crease and abdomen. Next time the knee comes out to the side, pause, gentle flex in the foot. Deep breath down into the base of the belly. And then exhale, press knee into hands for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, soften, release that effort. Exhale again, pressing knee to hands for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, soften and release. See if there's more room to open and stretch. Last time, exhale to press. 2, 1. Nice work. Inhale to release. And then draw the left leg down into a figure 4 shape, crossing ankle across thigh. If the right leg was extended long, you might choose to keep it there. Otherwise, if knee was bent, you can stay here and maybe play with this shape anyway for more support in our next movement. Hands ground down to the earth once more. Exhale, iron the low back to the mat for some core support here. And then inhale, let the right foot hover just above the mat. If leg is long, then whole leg hovers just above the mat. Exhale, use the effort of the breath to draw right knee in towards chest. And then inhale to lower, keeping the knee bent or the leg long. Let it hover. And then exhale, draw back into chest. Good. Twice more. Inhaling to lower. Exhale, draw in. Shoulders stay firm, but chest is open. Nice. Last time, exhale, draw knee towards chest, and then pause in this classic figure 4 shape. Thread arms through the legs to clasp around back of thigh or the shin. Left foot stays flexed to protect the knee. And then ask yourself what most honors your experience of this moment. So, does stillness feel like the thing that you need, or would movement, a gentle rocking of the hips from side to side, feel best? So invite that which is most needed in your current experience, right? The thing that would really benefit your body, and your practice today. Pause at center. And then release the clasp. Bring right foot to mat. And release legs over to the right, coming onto the outer edge of the right foot. Same figure 4 shape with the left leg. You might clasp right hand around the ankle for grounding and support here. And then explore different shapes by sliding the bottom foot up towards the hips or maybe down towards the knee. And then you might play with pressing the knee further away from the body or drawing it closer in towards the body. And pause in the shape that feels the most juicy, right? The shape that offers the most oomph to your practice. And send the breath down into any resistance you encounter, just massaging into the edge of your stretch. And then release that top leg, let it stack over the bottom leg and roll onto your side. Okay. Top palm stacks on the bottom palm. Deep breath in brings the top fingers to slide across arm, across chest, and then open into a twist. Exhale, rainbow the top arm all the way up and around. Roll back onto your side and let the palms meet. Once more, inhale, slide top arm open across the chest. Exhale, rainbow all the way around. Fingertips stay connected to the ground if that's comfortable. Once more, inhale to open. Maybe gaze follows the hand. Exhale, rainbow the arm up and overhead, but this time pause with arm overhead and then extend the top leg. You can point the toes or flex the foot. Let hand and foot hover or ground them into the earth. And then play with opening into a gentle back bend here. So sliding toes and fingertips back. Letting the top shoulder wrap around the rib cage for stability in the shoulder joint. Lengthening through the tailbone. Breathing down into the left hip flexor. Low belly. Along the whole length of the left side of the body. Nice. And then release top arm and leg back to your side lying shape. Once more, inhale, open into the twist, but this time let knees and gaze come up towards the ceiling. Pause to make any adjustments here to your position. And maybe take a few more pelvic rocks or even some hip lifts to help reset the spine before the second side. Okay, this time draw right knee into chest, leaving left leg where it is or else extending it long and keeping it active along the mat. And the right knee starts to rock from side to side. Yeah, slow, conscious movements, aware of differences in sensation from one side to the other. Next time leg comes out to the side, pause, find that gentle flex again. With an open chest, breathe deeply into the belly. And then exhale to press knee into hands for 3, 2, 1. Soften with the inhale. See if that knee moves any closer in towards the chest. And then exhale again, resisting knee against hands. 2, 1. Inhale to release and soften. Preparing for one more exhale. Yeah, knee to hands. 3, 2, 1. And release. Good job. Leg comes down with a figure 4 shape. Right ankle crossing over left thigh this time. Flexed to protect the right knee. Hands can come down to the earth. Find the starting position that felt most appropriate for your body. So either with left leg long or starting with the knee bent for more support. Okay. Exhale, lengthen through tailbone, press low back to mat, and then inhale. Left foot hovers just a few inches above the mat. Use the strength of the exhale, draw left knee towards chest. And then inhale to lower, keeping the knee bent or keeping it long if that's your preference. Exhale, draw the leg up, knee bends in towards chest. Inhale to release. Keep low back, ironed into mat. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale to open. Last time, exhale, knee draws in and pause. Our figure 4 shape. Thread hands through the legs, clasping around back of thigh or shin. Both feet flexed. Soft across the chest, but anchored through shoulders. You might swallow through throat to release any tension there. Softening in jaw and face. And if movement feels like what you need here, then play with this side to side pulse. Or maybe there's something else that you need. And come back through center if you had moved away from it. Release the clasp. Bring left foot back to mat. And then release legs over to the left. Plant the sole of the right foot. And then try sliding it maybe more towards the knee or more in towards the hips. Different side, different story. So instead of chasing the same shape as the first side, try to connect with same sensation or similar sensation. And remember, you might also press the knee away from the body or draw it further in towards the body. Tune into the feel and then use the breath as you gently approach the edge of your stretch. Where do you feel resistance? Where is there room to grow? Steady exhale to soften. Full inhale for space. And then top hand releases away from ankle if it was clasped. Stack top leg on top of the bottom one and roll onto the left side this time. Right palm stacks on top of left. Deep breath in as right fingertips slide up the left arm across the chest and open. Gaze follows hand if that's comfortable. And then fingertips rainbow around the top on the exhale. Hands connect. Inhale, open into the twist. Breathing into low ribs. Exhale, hand circles up and around, rolling back onto your left side. Again, inhale, open into the twist. And this time, exhale as the arm rainbows over top. Pause once you're on your side. And then reach the top leg long, toes pointed or flexed. Inhale, reach from heel or toes all the way up through fingertips as you open into a gentle back bend here. Foot and hand can hover, or else release them to the mat and actively root into fingertips and big toe mound. Yeah, to bring activation into the stretch. Tailbone lengthens as you breathe down a long length of spine, opening up between the lower vertebra. And release the stretch. Come back into your side lying position. Inhale to begin that twist. Last time, bringing knees and gaze with you to face up. All right. From here, hug knees in towards chest. You might choose to draw some circles on the ceiling. And then in opposite direction. Hug knees in towards chest. Exhale, gently tuck chin and lift nose up towards knees. Inhale, head and shoulders to mat. Exhale, let the knees float forward slightly. No hands for more strengthening, or use hands for more support. Inhale, draw knees into chest. Exhale, Lift nose up towards knees. Inhale, release with control back to mat. Exhale, float the knees forward. Last time, inhale, clasp knees into chest. Exhale, gentle tuck of the chin as you lift up into a ball. Stay for a breath here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then inhale to release back to the mat. Feet ground. Heel toe them slightly wider than hips width. And maybe let the knees fall gently from side to side for a few windshield wipers. Okay, pause once you've balanced out on both sides. Let the knees fall in towards each other. You might choose to stay here in constructive rest position, our starting position for the sequence. Or you might choose to relax the legs down, lengthened and open in a Shavasana position. If you have the time to give yourself here, stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. And with connection to breath, bring awareness back to the experience of being you in this moment. All senses firing, aware of the inner and outer experience. And please do stay in the position you're in for as long as you would like. I will slowly make my way back to seated, walking feet in towards hips, rolling to the side, and gently pressing up. Thank you so much for being here and for taking this time for yourself. Breathing into heart and connecting to gratitude. Gratitude for the opportunity that we have in our lives to practice. And gratitude that you took the opportunity that you have in your life to practice. And you're here on your mat, pursuing depth and growth and wisdom. Gently bow head to hands to honor that practice if you are seated with me. Namaste.